Like, should I relax or should I lock in?
Playing middle as a college athlete, I would say, like, the roar of the audience, the best feeling ever.
My faith is everything. It makes me who I am. I really wish that you could talk smack on the golf course. Like, that'd make it so much more fun.
I had some, like, decision paralysis. Should I sleep or should I do the schoolwork?
There's momentum goes both ways, right? So if you start winning a lot, that momentum is positive. If you start losing a lot, get that losing momentum. And we just got to find a way to overcome that.
Let's be great today, Lions.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Live Top Podcast. I'm your host, Damian Trailer, and today I have Cristen Rabern tapping in with me. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Doing good.
Very good Tuesday. It's very hot outside, though.
Yeah, it was cold this morning, though.
Yeah, it was very cold. That's what I'm saying. The seasons are really changing for real, but I mean,
Yeah.
it is springtime, so you kind of expect it.
That's true.
But we're going to hop into the pod. Ms. Rabern, can you tell me what sports you coach and how long you've been coaching here at Piedmont?
So I'm the head cheer coach at Piedmont, and I have been here for 4 years.
How you been enjoying Piedmont so far with these last 4 years for you?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I tell people this is my dream job. So
That's good. Coach, can you tell me, myself, and the viewers your journey to becoming head coach here at Piedmont for your team?
it was kind of an interesting way of getting here. It wasn't your typical, like, they had an opening and I applied. So basically there was a cheer team already here, a group of students who wanted to just cheer like at basketball games. And my former high school coach was coaching them, just kind of like almost on a volunteer basis. So they just did stuff at the basketball games. And it was very small. It was like 6 people. And she was leaving to go teach abroad, and she didn't want to leave them without a coach. So she asked me if I would step in and take her place. So I said, sure, of course, I would love to. So I stepped in and I was coaching them. And like I said, it was a pretty small team. There was only like 6, and we were just doing stuff at the basketball games. And I went to Coach Peoples, the athletic director, and I said, I think you need a competitive cheer team. And so he said, write me up a proposal. So I wrote up a proposal. It was this big, long, I did a lot of like research and just trying to figure out what kind of budget we would need and how many recruits I think I could get and all of that. So what my 3-year plan was, I put all of that into it and presented that to him, and then he took me over to present it to the president. And so after that, then they hired me full time, and so they hired me to create the first competitive cheer team at Piedmont, because Piedmont has only ever had sideline teams. So I took a year to recruit and did nothing but recruit for an entire year, and then this will be our 3rd year with a competitive team.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a couple of the girls, and I mean, honestly, they've been grateful and thankful about, you creating that team, because it's really brought them a lot of camaraderie as a team, and it helped them make long, lifetime friendships. Just talking to Kiki and Jalen and Summer and Molly, they've been friends, and they just say thank you for that as well. But my next question is, do you actually struggle with time management as a coach?
For the most part, I'm very organized as a coach. I would say that that's one of my strong suits, is being organized. So I don't struggle with time management. Of course, I get stressed just like everybody else does, especially when things all kind of happen at the same time. But for the most part, I would say that I'm a pretty organized person, and I usually get here early, and so time management hasn't been a huge issue.
Understandable. What are some difficulties you go through as a coach that most people probably don't know?
There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that goes into being a coach that I didn't realize, that I think a lot of people didn't realize. There's a lot of the little things that you would just never think of when you think of coaching. So I tell people all the time, I kind of joke, I didn't realize how much of my job was going to be feeding these people. So anytime we go on a trip, anytime that we're at a camp, when we go to nationals, all of that, you got to feed all these people, and that's a lot of people to feed. So it's stuff like that, little behind the scenes decisions that you're constantly having to make. Obviously, you're dealing with the travel and the budget and recruiting for next year, and so there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes. And then, of course, you have, your athletes coming to you, and they may have issues that they need help with. And so it's a lot of little things that a lot of people don't get to see.
How do you go about recruiting though?
So I mostly recruit through, we have a stunt clinic This year we actually did 2. So we did one in the fall and then one in the spring. And that's the biggest tool that I use to recruit. So basically we have high school girls. I, put it on social media. I email it to high school coaches, et cetera. And so then I have a bunch of high school girls come in and they actually get to stunt with my girls and kind of see what our team is like and what kind of skills we're working on and that kind of thing. That is probably the number one way that I recruit. And then obviously through social media, you can find a lot of people. We'll go to things like combines where you go and you have a whole bunch of colleges there, do things like that. So those are the big ones.
Oh, that's real. On to the sports questions, though. My first question for you, Coach, is what made you fall in love with the sport of cheerleading?
I love cheer because I think it is so underestimated. I love the strength and the drive and dedication that it takes. I always tell people I like being able to tell a girl that you get to go lift weights, but you still get to wear glitter. So that is kind of a fun part of it for me is that, you're improving your skills, you're improving your strength. These girls can do ridiculous things with their bodies that a lot of people can't do, but we still get to dress up and wear glitter and have fun. I love that it's a team sport. So I think those would be the main things that helped me kind of fall in love with cheer.
No, that's awesome, Coach. My next question for you is who or what got you into wanting to be a coach, though?
I don't know that I have like a solid answer for that. I started cheer when I was in like 9th grade and did competitive cheer all throughout high school. And I'm going to be honest, our team was not very good. Our team was not real great, but I loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I loved the practices. I loved when we traveled together. We just built such great bonds on that team. And so I would say that feeling made me want to recreate that for other girls.
What about coaching here at Piedmont do you love the most?
For sure, the thing that I love the most about coaching at Piedmont is the other athletic staff. They have been fantastic. So from the athletic director, Peoples, Purdy, all of the other coaches have been so wonderful. I was really afraid coming in that people were going to be like, cheer? Really? We're hiring a cheer coach? They were going to be a little skeptical. But they've been fantastic. All of the coaches are super supportive. They want to see our program grow. They want to see us do well. They've all been very willing to help a new coach, kind of figure things out and figure out the ropes. Coach Scally has been a big mentor for me. Anytime I have like a coaching question, a coaching issue, I go to Scales and he usually can talk me through it. So that's been probably my favorite thing about Piedmont specifically is the other athletic staff.
Yeah, Coach, I actually, when I talked to you, when I was doing my assignment for the war, when I was writing a story on you guys, I was kind of like, I didn't really take cheerleading as serious until I actually had that conversation with you and you actually told me like how difficult the sport is. So my question for you is, and I actually want you to also tell the viewers, how difficult is competition cheer?
Competition cheer is a grueling sport. It is a lot. And I think that a lot of people, what they see is they see the sideline cheering where we're actually cheering for other teams. Right. And that is what they think cheerleading is. And that's a part of it, but competitive cheerleading takes it to a whole nother level. So you have basically every year we get a routine. It's 2 minutes and 15 seconds. You have jumps, tumbling, stunts, dance, like there's all these different components of it that you have to fit into this 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So it's kind of like doing acrobatics and gymnastics and all of this in one. And so the girls have to have very varied skills. They have to be able to do a lot of different things. And so it's hard on them. It's hard on their bodies. We don't have the same kind of regulations that other teams do. So we don't have a set number of times that we can practice. So we practice literally from the day they get on campus until we go to nationals. So they're putting their bodies through a lot for a long time. It's a lot on the body. Cheer tends to have a lot of injuries just because when you are throwing people in the air and catching them one slip and,
Yeah.
you know, you can get hurt. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's really understandable because I think that even when I talk to people around campus, I don't think they really understand, like, the difficulty that you and the girls actually have to go through. 'Cause I remember I was talking to Kiki and Jalen, and they were talking about, like, you know, like, y'all are sprinting from one end of the mat, I guess, to the other end to catch somebody and throw them back up in the air and then sprint all the way back.
Yes.
That's a lot of energy that's being wasted.
Yeah, so it's like, I tell people it's kind of like doing sprints, but if you did sprints and then you also had to like throw a weight around while you were doing sprints and flip your body over. So it is all out for that 2 minutes and 15 seconds. There are some of them in particular that are in every single section. They don't have a second to breathe. Like you have to learn how to breathe while you're doing it because there is no downtime.
Coach, my next question for you is, with you and the girls being in season, what have y'all been doing to ramp up for nationals?
So in the fall, we focus more on conditioning because your body has to be in a certain, you have to be able to do certain things. It has to be in a certain shape. So we start with conditioning in the fall. We work on getting our skills, like our basics. And then and usually around in October, we get our routine. And then we kind of switch gears and we start focusing on the routine. And so that's kind of where we're at now. We're focusing on the routine and just doing it over and over and over, getting the repetitions in. You have to do it so many times so that you get the muscle memory and so that you can do it without even thinking about it, because you get up on that stage and your brain goes away. So you have to have the muscle memory. So that's kind of where we're at now, is getting those repetitions in so that when we hit the floor at nationals, they will already have that muscle memory in them and they can just go and do the things that they've been doing at practice for the last month.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, this weekend is a very big weekend for you and the team. You and the Lady Lions are hosting a Blue Ridge Battle Saturday, March 29th here at the Johnny Moss Athletic Center. What are you hoping to get out your girls?
So I would love for them to just hit their routine all the way through this Saturday. We had an exhibition that we did an all-star competition last Saturday, and they hit the routine all the way through. It was fabulous. So if we could just do that again, that would be great. I would just really love for them to be able to show off what we are able to do. Sometimes nerves get the better of you, and so I just hope that they are able to, get past those nerves and be able to show everyone all of the skills that we've been working so hard on for the last, year.
Yeah. Last year, the competition team placed fourth in the NCAA Nationals. What could you say was the reason for y'all placing fourth last year?
So getting fourth last year was an interesting story. So the way it works at NCAA is you get 2 days to compete. You have prelims that are 25% of your score and then finals that are 75% of your score. So on day one at prelims, I think that basically the nerves got the better of us. And especially some of the freshmen got really, really nervous. And we just didn't perform our best. It just wasn't the best that we could do. And so we had a few drops, things like that, had a few deductions. And so we were sitting in 9th place, day one, and which is really disheartening after getting 3rd place the year before. So sitting in 9th place was not a good feeling. And I was fully prepared for the girls to turn to that, because your emotions are so high anyways, your, adrenaline is so high. I was fully prepared for them to kind of turn on each other a little bit and start you didn't do your job. Why didn't you do this? You should have done that. And that is 100% not what happened. They as a team pulled together. They said, we're better than this, and we know that we're better than this. And so they really pulled together as a team, really without my help at all, which was, as a coach, is really cool to see. And then we did much better on day 2, and then we were able to jump up from 9th place to 4th place, which is a huge jump in cheerleading. So that was really cool. So when we were able to get 4th place, even though we didn't get to bring home a trophy, it was still really a win, just because of the way that the team had pulled together.
Well, I actually have a question now. With that being said, because you said your team basically kind of, pulled in together without, you say your assistants. With you being a coach, and I guess you could say what you've been building here the last couple of years at Piedmont, how you could say inspirational or important was that coming into this year, that you've seen your team kind of group together and pull in and, you know, even be top 5?
Oh, that was everything to me. That really made me feel like maybe I've done something right in instilling some of those values in them. We are definitely a team of encouragers. We don't tear each other down. We're going to encourage each other and build each other up. And that's something that I harp on a lot, because building or pulling your teammates down, it's not going to do any good. It doesn't do anything. So that was really beneficial for me coming into this year, knowing that that's the kind of team that I was working with. So that made coming into this year even more exciting, because I knew that that's the culture that they were building.
No, that's great for sure. I mean, seeing the whole team rally together and be able to come back like that, I mean, that's great. My next question is, though, what have you and the team learned from placing 4th last year in the NCAA Nationals and hoping to change this coming season?
So one of the things that I think we kind of all agreed on was that we needed more reps of doing the routine all the way through. And then we also decided that we needed to get in front of a crowd more. Because like I said, the nerves, like the adrenaline gets to you, and, you know, with cheer, you're not allowed to make a mistake. So you make one mistake and there goes your season.
Right.
So you really have to be able to get in front of a crowd and calm yourself down. And so this year we are getting in front of a crowd much more. We had 2 exhibitions at all-star competitions. We're doing our own competition this weekend. We've got another showcase next weekend. So we're trying to really put ourselves in front of a crowd more in order to get those nerves out. And then hopefully when we go into nationals, it'll just be the thing that we've done before. So.
Okay. Next question. Actually, hold on. I just thought about that, 'cause I remember we talked about that earlier, a couple months back. You were saying, like, nerves was a problem. So, you know, how has it been, like, now that y'all been, like, performing in front of a crowd? Do you think that would, like, you know, I know you talked about, like, nationals, but nationals is probably something totally different crowd-wise from what you guys are doing here.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, the crowd at Nationals is much bigger, but the atmosphere is still the same. So we went to all-star competitions, and all-star competitions are very similar in that you're on a stage, you have like the big stage lights like shining down on you. So the music is super loud, all of that. So that kind of has the same environment. So that was very similar actually to Nationals. So that was kind of what we were trying to replicate. So yeah, it's bigger at Nationals, but kind of the same atmosphere.
Okay. Next question. Coach, can you talk to me about the improvement in building the competition cheer team here at Piedmont year by year since you've been here?
It's been insane. These girls they are hungry to get better. And especially the ones that have been with me all 3 years, to see their level of improvement has been crazy. They are just constantly striving. They're not okay with staying the same. They want to improve their skills year by year, and they have. Last year, we moved up an entire, which this won't mean much to you, but on the score sheet, we moved up an entire bracket in difficulty, which means that we did way more difficult stunts last year than we did the year before. And then this year, we should move up again in difficulty because the girls, they're not okay just doing what we did last year. They want to push and do more. So that's been really fun to watch, and to watch them grow as people too. Like I said, I feel like they're really working hard to build a good team culture. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, that seems really great, honestly. I hope y'all really do win the whole thing this year. I know how important it is for you and like the team too. I've talked to a lot of them. So, but my next question is: I had a few players on the pod, and they all seem to have confidence in knowing what it needs to be done to win first place this year. But Coach, how are you breeding confidence in your team day by day?
So I think the biggest way to build confidence is through those repetitions.
Right.
If you've done it before, you know you can do it again. And so that's kind of where we're at right now, is just doing it again and again to know that we can. So like when we were competing last weekend and we hit all of our stunts in the routine, hit all of our tumbling, it was a beautiful routine. Knowing that we can do that is a huge confidence builder. So that's kind of the driving force, is just repetitions.
Coach, what are you trying to build here with the competition team here at Piedmont?
Honestly, I mean, I feel like what we have right now is fantastic. I love, like I said, I want to have a good team with a solid culture. I love that we're starting to get our name out there. People are starting to say like, oh, I know Piedmont
Yeah.
in the cheer world, because when I first came in, everybody's like, Piedmont who? Like, where? Which still happens a good bit, but I feel like we're starting to get our name out there more, which is what I wanted to see. I love being a place where girls can come and they can continue to do their sport even if they don't want to go to a big school, because there are several people who are like, I don't want to go to a huge D1 school. I want that small town feel. I want a smaller school, a smaller setting. And so being able to tell those girls you can have that and still cheer has been really cool. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to build. I would love to make a reputation for ourselves. Like, I tell the girls, I'm like, we want to be that team, that team where you come in and people are like, ah, dang, Piedmont's here, like that's kind of the goal.
So that dominance, you could say.
Yeah.
Last question on the sports side, and this is a question I've really been wanting to ask you for a minute, speaking of all your players or whatever. But what will it mean for you and your team to win first place in NCAA National in a couple weeks?
It would be so great. I think it's just a way of showing that all of the work that they've put into it is worth it. And I think that that's really the biggest part of it, is just to know that we did our best and that our best was enough. And even if we don't win it, which of course we want to, but if we can go and just do the skills that we know that we can do and do them to the best of our abilities, I think we'll still be happy with the outcome. If someone else comes and there's another team that has a better routine than us, that's out of our control. Like, we can't control that. But what we can control is doing our best. So if we can get to nationals and our best is enough to win, I think that just is the icing on the cake, saying all this work that you've done has been for something.
That's real right there. I'm not gonna lie. But on to mental side questions. My first question for you, Coach, is: do you feel like mental health is important in the sports world, and why?
Yes, very, very much. Cheer is a hugely mental sport. Flipping your body over backwards takes a lot of. You're having to counteract everything in your body that's telling you you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
When you are getting thrown into the air, everything in your body is saying, this is not right. We should not be getting thrown in the air right now. So you have to be able to conquer that. So that's huge for cheer. Like I said, just a very mental sport, period. But also, I think that it's so important in the collegiate world right now. I just feel like there's a lot of mental health issues going on. And a lot of things that we don't talk about or that we're maybe scared to talk about. So it's something that I'm kind of passionate about as well. I tell all of my girls, I want to be someone that they can come and talk to about these things, and that they can trust me to, give them the best advice possible. So I would say that it's very important, particularly in cheer.
That's really important. I feel like as well. That's kind of why I wanted to start this podcast, honestly, just to not just get to the sports side of the pod, but like also the mental side. Cause I know a lot of athletes that go through things that they, like I said, don't be spoken of. So that's kind of why I wanted to start this pod. But my next question for you is: what tactics as a coach do you do to keep your players fresh mentally?
So as a coach, we try to. Hold on, let me think about this one for a second. Okay, so. Let's see. How do I keep my players fresh mentally? I try to change things up in practice. I know that doing the same thing over and over and over and over can wear on you a little bit. Yeah. So I try to change things up, change the order that we do things. Maybe we make it into a competitive little game, things like that. We do a lot of we'll talk through what their goals are, what they think they're doing well, what they think they're not doing well, what they think they need to improve on. We'll talk about, where as a team do we need to be mentally. So I guess just kind of changing things up at practice and making sure that we talk about it.
Gotcha.
That wasn't a great answer, but
it was
best I got.
It was good.
Best I got.
Why is mental health so important in the sport of competition cheer? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit, but I actually want to understand like, how important is it? Because I know Summer, she came on and was talking about, like, you know, like, appearance is very big. You know, you have to be, supposedly you have to be pretty, and you have to be able to go out there and be able to still kill your stunts. So I just want to know, like, what about mental health is so important in the sport of competition cheer?
Well, for one, in competition cheer, you have to be perfect. There are no redos. There are no, oh, I messed up, let me try again. So there's a constant pressure to be perfect. And I know that bleeds a lot into the way you look and things like that. As a coach, I don't look at that kind of stuff like that. I know that the girls feel that pressure. But for me, it's more of that they constantly have to be on. They constantly have to be, at the top of their game. It's really hard to have an off day in cheer because that's when people get hurt. So you also, a lot of times what people don't take into consideration with cheer is how much of a team sport it is, because you have a stunt group that has 4 people in it. And if one of those people is having a bad day or is not bringing their A game, that is trouble for the whole group. So you have to be able to trust yourself. You have to be able to trust your teammates to do their job. Again, you could do all of your stuff perfect, but if the person next to you doesn't do their stuff perfect, then it kind of cancels out what you did. Yeah. So you have to trust every single one of your teammates to do their job and to perform to the best of their abilities. So it's kind of hard, like you can't have a bad day. You can't have an off day. So there's a lot of pressure for sure.
Yeah, pressure. Speaking of pressure, what makes having confidence an important factor being an athlete?
I would say that confidence matters in everything you do. But especially for an athlete, being able to go out there and know the skills that you're going to do. I cannot tell you how many times a girl has like second guessed herself, and that's when injuries happen. So let's say like you're doing a flip, you're literally upside down in the air. You have that one moment of, oh shoot, I don't know if I can do this. And your body freaks out, and that's when you fall. That's when you get hurt. And I've seen it happen, and you can see it on their faces too. So you have to go into it with the confidence of I can do this, or it's just not going to work. Like there are so many skills in cheer that if you don't come to it with an I can do this attitude, it ain't ever happening.
No, that's straight. That's just real, honestly. I mean, you said it best, honestly. Like, I wish I could do a flip, but I can't.
I used to be able to. I can't anymore.
Coach, my last question for you on the mental side. Do you think the sport of competition cheer, or just cheer in general, has helped shape or grow you as a person?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I don't know if it's so much the sport as it is my girls. I'm trying to grow them as people, but really they're growing me. They have taught me a lot. I usually don't tell people this side of the story, but at nationals last year when we were in 9th place, I totally lost it. I was like, we're done. We might as well not even be here. I had given up. Like I had gotten to a place where I was like, well, sucks for us. Like we're done. And they are the ones who brought me out of that. So that has just seeing them and seeing their love for the sport, that has definitely grown me as a person and as a coach. And they know, I'm a pretty new coach. This is only really my 3rd year with a team. So still trying to figure out the ropes. And the girls know that, every year I feel like I learn something new. And, every year I do things just a little bit different because I'm learning from the year before and things that work and things that don't work, and having to trust myself in that and trust that I'm making good decisions for them has really helped me kind of, grow as a person, I guess. That's the best way to say it.
Nah, Coach, that's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Some coaches, they don't admit that on camera.
Yeah, I mean, I don't usually, that's not the pretty side of the story, so I don't usually tell people that, but it's real. It's real.
That is real for sure. But, Coach, on to the burner questions. Because I know I talked to Jalen on the pod, and I actually clipped this on my page as well. She talked about some superstitions. She said she does 3 scoops of pre-workout.
Yeah, that's not good for you. You
Mountain
probably.
Dew.
I tell them, I'm like, you probably shouldn't do that. But oh yeah, the superstitions are crazy. They stand in a certain way. They have handshakes. There's one girl on the team that found like a marble randomly on the floor one day and like stuck it in her pocket. And then that day they had a really good practice. So now she brings the marble everywhere. They call it the orb, and she brings it everywhere we go.
Wow.
So there's been, like I said, they do handshakes. There's things that they will tell each other, conversations that they will have the same conversation every single time before a practice. It's just, it's really entertaining to watch. I let them have it.
My question was going to be, what are some of the most wild cheerleading superstitions you've ever seen before?
Yeah, I would say the marble in the pocket is probably one of the bigger ones. Like I said, all the handshakes, they always have to be done in a certain order. We do a little like prayer circle before anytime we do a full out. They always stand in the same order. Like it's a lot of fun to watch. They come up with them. They're different every year, I feel like. And they just kind of happen organically. But I don't really have anything to do with them. I don't really have any superstitions, I don't think. So I just have fun watching theirs.
Who's the most wild or funny person on the team?
Oh my gosh, there's all of them. We have so much fun. Just an incredible group of girls who love each other, love the sport. They're all really entertaining. We have a lot of entertaining people on our team. So we get sometimes, so we have late night practices occasionally. We have like 8 to 10 practices, and there's a group of them that is their time, and they get what we call the Zoomies at about 8 to 10,
I've been hearing about that.
They are wild and crazy, and it's a lot of fun. So really all of I really can't even pick just a solid one person, because all of them.
Favorite music artist currently or all time?
Ooh, favorite music artist. I don't really listen to music.
Real?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I listen to podcasts more.
Okay, favorite podcast currently or all time?
I like Mind Pump.
Mind Pump? What is
Yeah.
that about?
It's these 4 like super muscular guys that talk about working out.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, I like theirs. Stuff You Should Know is good. The Bible Recap is good.
Okay.
So lots of different podcasts. But if I was gonna say for music, I like coffee shop music, like that kind of chill, smooth.
Something you could like do your work to?
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable.
My girls do not like my taste in music. That's why every time we have like at the beginning of practice, I'm always letting Jalen on our speaker. I'm like, all right, Jalen, hook up to it, because she's got the jams, and so everybody knows that Jalen's our DJ, because they don't like it when I play music. So
Supposedly, I heard y'all listen to crash out music on the bus. So I know
yeah,
that was really nice.
I don't know. I don't know any of it. I let them go. I let them do it. So. They have fun with it. Like I said, the speaker's in the back of the bus, and Jalen hooks up to it, and they go at it. They love it. So yeah. I just let them have it.
She surprised me when she told me that, when I was like, wow. But next question, if you could travel anywhere in the world, anywhere, where are you traveling to?
Anywhere in the world. Somewhere with mountains. I think Switzerland would be cool to go to.
Switzerland, that's the first one.
Yeah, I do a lot of hiking. Me and my husband really love to hike. So anywhere with like some big mountains that we could climb, that'd be cool.
Okay. If you're going to a gas station for snacks, what 3 items you walking out with?
I'm boring. Probably a water.
Okay.
Probably like some sort of protein bar. Ooh, the little popcorners. Have you tried those?
No, I never tried.
They're good. It's kind of like, it's like a combo between popcorn and a chip. Those are good. Yeah, I'm pretty boring with my food. My girls tell me I'm like a health nut, so.
I mean, it's regular and classic. You can't knock it though.
Yeah.
I'm classic.
Occasionally a Dr. Pepper. I mean, I will occasionally go with a Dr. Pepper.
I don't see. That's the thing though, Coach. I don't really understand like Coke, Dr. Pepper.
I like Dr. Pepper. That's really the only one. But energy drinks, I cannot.
Oh, thank God.
I cannot.
I don't do that either. I don't drink coffee, none of that.
I think my whole team, we should be sponsored by Alani, I think.
Yeah.
So they love Alani, but especially Molly. Molly always has to have her Alani. But Yeah, I'm not really an energy drink person. I don't really like them.
That's all good, Coach. But no, it's okay. If you're stranded on an island, what 3 things you making sure you got with you? This is my favorite question to ask along the burner question.
Can I have a person?
Yeah.
I'm bringing my husband for sure because he's going to get us off that island. I would bring a fire starter and a pot to boil water in.
Pot to boil water. Okay.
Super. Okay, so have you ever watched the show Alone?
Yeah.
That's one of our favorite shows.
Really?
Yeah. So like survival, I don't know. We get it really into survival shows. So we've watched all of the survival shows. So I feel like from a survival standpoint, those would be the things I would eat. Ooh, maybe a knife though.
Yeah, knife to kind of be like.
Oh, maybe yeah. So.
Yeah, people ask me this question all the time. I probably wouldn't make it, honestly. I'm not gonna lie.
That's why I said I would bring my husband, because alone I would never make it. No, it's not happening. Yeah. I'm curling up in the fetal position. I'm done for. But he would get us out of there. So.
Last question, Coach. If you could look back and give your younger self advice, what would it be?
If I could look back and give myself I guess it depends on what stage I was in. I would say in high school, I would tell a lot of high school students that the things that you think matter don't matter. In the grand scheme of things, they don't matter. It's such a short period of time. It feels so important. Then honestly, I think that's what I would tell really my younger self in general, is the things that seem hard at the time are so insignificant later on. So the things that you think are so important and such a big deal, you get a few years down the road and they don't seem like such a big deal anymore. So I think that's probably, don't take everything so seriously.
Got you. I'll take that advice for sure. But before I end the pod, Coach, I did sale this past summer. I'm actually running it back this year, so I'm happy I got the job again.
Yeah.
But, I used to always tell my Voyagers, let's be great today, as like a type of motivation, like to encourage them or whatever.
Yeah.
So if we can do a let's be great today on 3, I'll
Okay.
count and look at the camera, of course.
All right.
That'll be great. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Let's be great today.
Thank you, Coach.
You're so welcome.
All right, Live Tap family, that is the end of the Coach Cristen Rabern episode, which I'll stay tuned Friday because I have Piedmont Athletic Director Danielle Percival coming on the pod. So it's always great, man. Happy to be back on the pod. Y'all stay blessed out there, and I always say, let's be great today.